Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Well, they killed off Franco, so yeah, that's the thing. Peter shot Franco, and he said some words, he pretty much kind of gloated, and then he walked off. And here's the thing, it's weird, because I did say yesterday that I saw an image online, or like a fan site or whatever, Peter, the one that's, Peter is like laying down or whatever, like in a pool of blood or whatever. So, Jay spoilers were clearly wrong about that. I'm glad I didn't actually report that as fact, but, yeah, Franco is, gone. Jason comes in moments later, sees Franco, and he's standing over his body. Now, at this point, I think everyone can already kind of guess what's going to wind up happening. Liz shows up in this very slow and dramatic way. Like, she runs in the door, and then it slows down. And then they look at each other. And I'm like, okay, so we clearly know where this is going to go. Jason wound up calling the cops. Jordan gets there, and after some time with Franco's body, and Jordan asking Jason what happened, Liz is just like, you did this. And I'm like, yep. Well, can't sit there and say I didn't see this coming. And the funny thing about this was that as I'm watching this episode, I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen because, well, they just pretty much kind of set it up that way. But I knew that Liz was going to sit there and accuse Jason. And usually, I've been really annoyed with Liz and her whole, you're not going to sit there and touch Franco. You're not going to do this to Franco and that to Franco. And I'm like, you didn't realize that Franco was the one that asked Jason to put a bullet in his head in case he went all old school Franco. But yet you sit there and keep coming at Jason like he's the problem. So, yeah, I already kind of knew that, and I was like, you know what, listen, this is clearly the grief that's talking, because you've known Jason for the majority of your life at this point, I feel like. And Jason has never been convicted once. I mean, except for the time he went to jail for Michael, but other than that, no. So what happened? You thought today of all days, he was just going to be like, you know what, I'm just going to be sloppy and just not care. You know him better than that. Like, and honestly, to tell you the truth, I saw the previews towards the next episode, and they're going to sit there and do the whole, comparing the bullets and the residue and stuff like that, and it's going to come back clean. And, just to be honest, if Jason was the one that killed Franco, you honestly think that his body would still be there? But, of course, Liz is not in the right mind, so she's gonna be Liz, and we're gonna have to sit there and listen to all the nonsense that's gonna come out of her mouth. And I get that it's out of grief, but it's just also out of stupidity, too, so, it is what it is. Now, here's the thing about the rest of this episode. Besides, Peter killing Franco, the rest of this episode was just kind of fluff. Nothing major happened in this episode. I mean, the one good thing that also happened in this episode was that Maxie finally woke up. After she kind of apologized to Britt for going off on her and stuff. I mean, she was really pissed off at Anna because, the whole, you knew about Peter and all his stuff, and you chose not to, say anything to me. So she was mad. And to be honest, she had every right to be mad at Anna, Anna is her godmother. And you pretty much was okay with him being a psychopath entering into her life. Now, to be fair, Anna doesn't get all the smoke, okay? Maxie deserves a lot of that too, because a lot of people was telling her about Peter, and she chose not to listen. So I don't know if all that anger necessarily needs to go to Anna. I mean, she deserves what she's getting, but let's be honest, Maxie, this is kind of all on you. Hell, at one point, even Mac was sitting there kicking himself. He wasn't even mad at Anna at this point, because he was too busy kicking himself, not, being mad that he didn't get, he didn't see Peter for who he was. And he was even talking about that with Robert. So he is disappointed in himself. There's some scenes with Liz and Sam. Pretty much Sam's just catching Liz up on everything that went on at the hospital. And that's when Liz heads out and tells Sam, hey, if you see Jason, tell him not to touch Franco. So, and then we all already know what goes on at that point. Alexa shows up, and I'm gonna be honest, like, I felt like her character was just pointless in today's episode. Like, she didn't really do much of anything. I mean, she talked to Valentine, but none of it was super important, Only thing that Valentine said to Alexa was that he didn't know that Peter was that bad of a guy, because, they bring out Drew's plane crash, and Alexa's like, please tell me, because, they have a good friendship, and she's like, please tell me that you didn't know that he did that, because she was fond of him. I feel like in the future I want to probably do a video on, like, who was the better Jason. I was thinking about that at work today. And I guess just a side question, who do you think was the better Jason? The Jason that we got now, or Drew's Jason? Other than that, didn't really go anywhere. Jordan was sitting there upset with Robert, because Jordan's like, yo, so you suspected all this stuff about Peter and you didn't say anything to me? And Robert's like, we don't have any proof, so we couldn't really do anything. And given that he's the DA, yeah, it kind of makes sense that, for him to not really sit there and say anything to her. But I mean, I guess that kind of sucks though too, because she's kept out of the loop. And given everything that's going on with Jordan, it's like, come on, seriously? I feel like Jordan's actually having a couple of bad months at this point. I think I said this already, but Maxie apologized to Britt about yesterday, her just, and these are her words, not mine, but her being bitchy and defensive. Other than that, Britt pretty much just checked on the baby, made sure that they were good, and then that was pretty much about it. I don't remember seeing Britt throughout the rest of the episode, so Cam calls over Scott to sit there and make a plan to try to get Franco to fight to live and stuff, after an incident that he didn't really sit there and tell Scott. They come up with this bucket list, which I thought was really nice, and actually, now I think about it, it's actually pretty sad, given everything that we know. But, they come up with a bucket list for stuff to do with Franco, just to kind of, get him to fight to live and stuff. So, they did that, and, that was pretty much about it. And lastly, Peter finally gets to the hospital, and after getting stopped by damn near every person that, watched Maxie grow up and be with Maxie, except for Valentine, Maxie's like, you know what, listen, let him in, we gotta talk. And, he walks in, and I guess we'll find out tomorrow what happens. Other than that, I'm not gonna lie, besides the fact that they killed off, Franco, and now, Liz thinks that Jason did it, nothing else really happened of importance. And again, I mean, I've said this before, but I was just like, why was Alexis in this episode? you know? I mean, Sam and Spinelli really didn't do much of anything either except for comfort Maxie. Besides that, they didn't really do anything. And, I mean, there was a lot of little chit-chats here and there, like with Robert and Mac and Robert and Jordan, but other than that, eh. So I thought this episode could have been better on the other stuff, but I mean, the Jason stuff was pretty good. So I guess we'll find out tomorrow because they're going to be questioning Jason, and I think I said this before, but I kind of like redid this whole review. And if I did say this again, I apologize, but they're gonna probably, they're gonna sit there and try to master bullet to Jason. They're gonna sit there and check him for residue, which of course is not gonna come back. It's gonna come back negative. And let's be honest, if Jason actually did it, there would be no body. So, but let's just gonna keep just saying that it's Jason. Jason did it, and yada yada yada. And I know a lot of people are gonna be upset with Liz, and I know probably I'm gonna be one of them. But let's just remember that the grief is the grief that's talking. Because she was actually sitting there thinking with logic and common sense. She would know that one, Jason is way too much of a pro to sit there and really get caught, and two, yeah, that's actually about it. So yeah, with that being said, I think that's about it. I know this review is short, but I don't really felt like a lot of other stuff that happened of importance anyway. But if I missed something, let me know. Write it down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate people who've been watching, and I appreciate all the new subscribers that are watching as well. I know I say this a lot, but I am really grateful. So with that being said, I'm going to go. Hope everyone has a good day or good night. I'll see you in the next video.